Welcome into my 90-day fiance, The Single Life, The Art of Micro Cheating, Season 5, Episode 5 review. I am Mrs. Best. I do welcome you all to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. This is a channel where I spend a lot of time, if not most of my content, just reviewing the different shows that we see on television. So if you ever have a suggestion for a show that you would like myself to cover or for me to cover with other creators such as James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel, please absolutely let me know. I also hope anybody who enjoys the video, please consider liking the video, consider subscribing. The more people that subscribe, the closer I can get to monetization so that I can start getting out some better quality videos and whatnot. But we are going to get into this episode. Child, before the 90 days is not fair because it's hard to outdo before the 90 days. Before the 90 days, please check out my review. I just did that yesterday with James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. I'll also make sure to tag in that video at the end of this video for people to click on to watch. But let's get into this episode, beautiful people. This episode, I was cheering, I was bored, but I was also like, what in the world? So we're going to start with Kim. So Kim is with her son Jamal, and he's preparing for a lip singing battle type content. He's doing something with lip singing on the internet where it looks like his people get dressed up and like reenact music videos, lip singing other stuff. I don't know. It looks like something fun that people can just enjoy on the internet without having to like stress or see anything negative. So I'm not mad at it, but Kim is there and Jamal's friend Josh is there as well as his other friend. And Kim, you funny. Kim absolutely made sure that we were all aware that she is the reason that the video that Jamal and his friends did for their lip sync and their highest viewed video is the one with Kim. I said, yes, Kim, because as quiet as it's kept, Jamal is low-key arrogant. And then separate from Jamal being low-key arrogant, it's one of those things where like Kim's seasons and her situation was so unbelievable, but I'm happy to see his little lip sync thing go well. I do wonder, like, as a content creator, like, how does that work as it relates to your like splitting of the funds? Do y'all know what I mean? Like, does everybody like share the money? Are we splitting bland partnerships? Like, how does this work? I just don't understand it. But they're shopping for clothes and we see Jamal in the dress and all of this. They have a little silly moment. But in the midst of all of this, I don't know if anybody else peeped it, but Jamal, his friend Josh was flirting with Kim. And Kim loves it. She said that's her crush and all of that, but it was making Jamal uncomfortable. He talked to his friend when Kim wasn't there. But then his friend's like, I like her, dude. I'm like, are y'all trying to paint this as like a potential love interest or storyline for Kim? Because that's what it gave. Let me know in the chat how you guys feel. Just because we're not live, I'm definitely engaged in the comments and will respond. But I'm curious because it felt like they were trying to set up like the storyline of Kim talking to a friend of her son's. And it's weird. It's like y'all already have this lady sharing her adoption information. But now in addition to that, we're going to do this weird, she's flirting with someone she could have birthed storyline. Like, I don't like it. It's weird. But Kim ends up trying on something that was actually kind of cute on her that she's going to be wearing to her date with Joe. And for those who don't remember, may not have seen the latest episode, Kim met Joe when she was at a party that her friends had at their house. It looks like her friends like do this event, and she had the opportunity to meet Joe through this event. And she decided to go on a date with him in spite of his height being the problem. Personally, y'all, I don't think Kim should have accepted that date. I wouldn't have accepted the date. I'm not saying that Joe is not a nice guy. He's very nice, but he is someone I can understand why he's single. Like, he seems easy to friend zone. And we gonna see a little bit more of how easy this man is to friend zone on the date. Side note, San Diego is beautiful. San Diego is legitimately beautiful. Like, I love, love, love San Diego. So shout out to San Diego because I would love to go on a date. He took them to bicycle and they bicycled, like, it looked like, what is that bridge called? The Coronado Bridge, I believe it's called in San Diego. They rode a bike basically along the bridge and the beach and things of that nature. And after they rode the bike, he said he had a surprise for her. And he's like, this is something that I do so that, I can stand out on dates. And I was like, stand out on dates? I was like, okay, dude, I'm starting to understand. Like, I'm literally starting to understand why he is single to a certain extent, because it's like, you couldn't think of anything else to do. But he pulls out a camera and he basically tells Kim that they want to take some pictures of themselves so that they can essentially like remember the moment and remember, like, it was creative, I guess, but it was just odd for a man to come up with an idea like that. I think it's smart, but y'all could have done that with a smartphone. Just been like, first date, because what if she didn't want to keep the picture? I'm just saying. But they took the pictures, and then they looked over the pictures together and they're talking. And personally, I was like, I can't understand if this guy likes Kim or if he's just like being polite. But I started to see, I was like, it seems like he likes her, but I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean about Joe, but he gives me one of those men that could date men but doesn't want to or something. Like, he definitely gave off a vibe, and I could be wrong and I don't want to put that on him. He seemed very nice, but like, that was just like, it was kind, but it was also kind of strange. Like, you have smartphones. Why would you buy a camera and do all of this? It was given Joe was trying to have a date on a budget. I'm just saying. That's what it was given. Joe wanted a date on a budget, and nothing is wrong with that. If that's what he can do, then that's what he can do. But I don't know. It kind of rubbed me wrong. But he's thinking, I'll definitely get the second date. And Kim, she kind of is like, she's not interested, so she's not going to come back for a second date, which I think if you're not interested, maybe let him know by phone. But I don't know how it works. I haven't dated anyone in like 18 years, so don't quote me, y'all. But before we move on to the next couple, because not much happened with Kim this episode, do me a favor if you can. I hope that you consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you enjoy what we do. I am a new and growing content creator, so everything will improve with time, and I appreciate those who watch, whether you subscribe or not. It really does mean the world. And welcome to everybody who's new to my channel. I'm happy to see everybody, and welcome to everybody who's been here before. But now we're going to talk about these fools: Sophie, Liz, Julia, and Pedro. Now, Liz is going absolutely insane on, well, not Liz, I'm sorry. Sophie and all of her plastic parts are going absolutely insane on Liz. And I'm looking at Sophie like, you're doing too much. You're a mean girl. You're a mean girl. And there's nothing more that I could say about it. You're looking for somebody to be mad at, Sophie, when the problem is you played stupid games and you got stupid results, and now you want someone to blame. You're 26 going on 16. 26 going on 16. But Liz gets fed up with Sophie going off on her. Sophie walks off, and Julia stays at the table, and Liz is like, this is ridiculous. Like, I could be dead in 3 years. I don't care to have an argument, and I thought I was helping her. And I kind of agreed with Liz. I thought that I could be dead in 3 years was a little dramatic. We do know that she's having health problems, I believe, as it relates to cancer. So I can understand why she said that. But I don't like when people use their circumstance as a reason to make it like to side with them or make their point. You don't have to bring up your medical diagnosis, Miss Ma'am, for us to see that Sophie is wrong. And I get that that's probably something genuinely bothering Liz. But I also felt like, okay, Liz, you doing too much, boo. You doing way too much. But the way that Sophie unloaded on her was too much. And Julia ended up sending Sophie away to the doctor man that she was flirting with. And it's like, you sitting up here screaming at Liz about a man when you're talking to the next man in the Dominican Republic. Like, I get that girl code exists, but Liz did not break girl code. Pedro came up to her. She did not say anything harmful, and she did not say anything that could be misconstrued as harmful. I think that Sophie just was not listening and was so mad that a man said, okay, I'm not going to chase you. I'm going to just be done. Sophie cannot stand that. She just wants to be right. She wants to be chased, and she's toxic. And I feel like this was probably a problem in her marriage. Personally, just a personal opinion. But Liz ends up leaving, and it pissed me off that Sophie was kind of like following her around outside, taunting her by the car. And I'm looking at Julia like, you really kind of suck too. You're a horrible person and friend, because Julia sat there and had zero empathy for Liz. Like zero empathy for Liz. If you cannot look at your friend and tell them you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're going to side and not offer Liz empathy just because of what Sophie told you, when you know Sophie's a liar, I'm sure Julia knows that. You know Sophie's immature. You know Sophie is not smart. You know these things, Julia. And instead you be mean to Liz, like you didn't have to do that. So I kind of looked at Julia like I'm annoyed. But at the end of it, Julia and Sophie eventually go home together. Liz lives on her own, and she ends up with that guy. I think his name was Via, that she's moving way too fast with. But the next morning, Julia and Sophie are playing, it looked like pickleball or wall ball with some sort of sports unit. But this is where Julia announces her pregnancy by giving Sophie a water bottle. Julia has had fertility struggles. Her and her husband have also had relationship struggles. She's worked really hard to get pregnant. So I think it's a win for any woman that's able to get pregnant that didn't think that she could. And I'm happy for her. I wouldn't raise my baby around Sophie, because I feel like Sophie's that friend that'll turn her back on you to just prevent her from looking bad. And I don't like people who move like that. It genuinely annoys me. But congratulations to Julia and her man on their bundle of joy. And I am like Sophie, and you still got on a plane and came to the Dominican Republic. If I would have went through what Julia went through to get pregnant, y'all, I would have sat my ass at home with my man, probably went on a leave of absence and all sorts of stuff. I swear to y'all I would. I swear to y'all I would. I promise you. But we then get to see Liz go on a date with this boy who's one of Pedro's friends. And I was uncomfortable with the date because all she did was talk about and complain about the issues that she's having with Sophie currently. And I feel like, yo, man, okay, like you could gossip to him a little bit, but that's too much. And then this isn't even your man yet, girl. So like, why are you telling him so much so soon? Like, I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. But she complains about him, and he's being nice. He's being kind. In my opinion, it did kind of seem like he did not like care, if that makes sense. But I don't know what is going on with my camera quality right now. Everyone, I apologize. This is StreamYard once again causing issues. It seems to improve when I put the little thank you on the screen. So I will leave it there like that. That way y'all can actually see me and what I'm saying. So my apologies. But yeah, Liz tells this man about losing a baby and how it was recent, and how losing that baby caused her to learn that she has cancer and is very sick. And she's trying to decide if she should date and if she shouldn't. And you know, Via seems to feel like they have a strong connection as well. He didn't really, like, at first it seemed like he wasn't that interested, but maybe he just wasn't interested in the drama with Sophie. Because you know Via gonna go run back to Pedro and be like, this girl is a mess. She's causing problems, mad at other people over you. So I feel like he didn't want to hear about that. But he does seem to like Liz, but I just do not trust the men of the Dominican Republic or the women as it relates to dating. I don't know. I just think of Curtis from Married to Medicine down there, and all the many other men that's been down there. My little brother went to the Dominican Republic and acted a fool. Like, I don't know. I just don't fully trust it. But Via and Liz both agree that they have some type of deep connection, but I feel like it's disingenuous to say something like that so soon. I also feel like Liz needs to be realistic. You have kids that are here. You just got out of a relationship. You're dealing and fighting cancer. And I just don't feel like this is, I mean, she can date, but I would hate to see somebody going through what Liz is going through, to date someone who would bring more strife or stress to her life, or somebody like Big Ed. We don't want to see that again. My God, we do not. But I wish Liz the best. Baby, that's all we could do for Liz. And Liz, you need to learn how to cuss Sophie out. I wish any of my friends would have talked to me the way that Sophie talked to Liz. I would have been like, Let me tell you something, you plastic Barbie doll wannabe having ass bitch. You don't want him. That's what your whole beef is about. That's why he came to me. Because you're not making stuff clear. You sold him one thing when he was buying you stuff and sending you stuff. But now that you're here with him, you don't want him. If I was Liz, I would have gotten Sophie's face and read that bitch for filth. You're not just going to talk to me like I'm crazy and say that I'm a bad person and all these extreme things. And then the next day, this bitch Sophie wasn't even remorseful. I wish Liz would have cussed her out from her rooter to her tutor. And I hope that when the tell-all for 90 Day to Single Life comes, I hope everybody gets on Sophie's ass. Because, baby girl, I hate to admit it to you, you not that cute. You not. None of us are. Nobody is that cute to have that attitude and be treating people like that. And if you act the way you did with Liz and Pedro, as you do when you dating or in your marriage, that's why your ass is alone now. And that's why you had to go looking for a man overseas. Figure it out, Sophie. Figure it out. God, my God. But let's keep it moving, y'all. We are going to get into the last couple of the episode, which I couldn't believe. I said this episode flew by. Y'all really could have shown us anything, but didn't give us much. But it's Colt and Courtney. I do hope everybody also considers liking the video and subscribing. But Colt and Courtney was the Hot Mess Express. Courtney, the last we saw, Colt was talking about, well, I don't talk to other women. And her friends was like, girl, you better go through that phone. And Courtney listened to her friends. And she's just a little, she just reminds me of a little Barbie doll, Courtney. She seems really sweet. She seems really sweet. And sometimes the nicest and prettiest people just can't seem to find love. I don't know what it is, but you know, she seems like a sweet girl. But she discovered he was cheating, going through the phone. She said she took a couple tries before she could get the password. I said, baby, a man was living in the house that you and your people are providing and you did not have his passcode. I have my man's passcode. I've had my man done had the same passcode for almost 20 years. Thank you, God. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying you got to go through the phone, but you should at least know the passcode. But Courtney got in that phone. She found videos of Colt touching himself that he was sending to other women. She found videos of Colt touching himself that he sent to Courtney that he also sent out to other women. How you send a masked text out of yourself touching on yourself intimately? Like, what? Like, are we for real, Colt? That is absolutely gross. That's gross. And, you know, she confronts. So we learned that she put Colt out. She put him out in the middle of the night. And Colt, he came on. He kind of pissed me off. I feel like TLC might have edited things so that he didn't look as bad. Because when he first came on the episode, when he described what happened with him and Courtney, Colt was very careful to say, well, Courtney discovered I was cheating. And I got the wonderful surprise of all of my stuff being out on the curb and an Uber coming to get me. It's like, you lucky she packed your stuff out. I would have been throwing your stuff out the window, throwing shit out the window. I sure would have. And you complaining, Colt? Now, Courtney, her parents are so cute. You could tell they just want their kids to have what they have. I don't know what it is. A lot of times I see people come from families where there's a lot of love, or parents that have been married forever, and it seemed like the descendants of them can't seem to find that same love. I don't understand it, but her parents, you know, her mom was like, well, don't let him come back, because Colt had some audacity. You not only cheated on this woman, but you made her your in-home support nurse, did not offer her no dick, did not offer her no money, did not pay a bill, didn't do anything for her. And I'm looking like, why did Courtney even have to do so much for you, Colt, when you were able to, it looked like he able to take care of himself, but he's in a hotel and he says he wants to talk to Courtney as she goes by, and he doesn't admit to cheating. He says he was trash. To me, Colt gives narcissist. I cannot stand Colt. Men like him are disgusting, and he lives up to the negative stereotypes of queer people because he thinks he's bigger than the program, and he ain't worth not a hot piece of a damn, like, at all. Sir, you have no job. You probably barely getting a little disability check, like, and you want to cheat on her instead of being honest. It's much easier to say, listen, I don't know what I want to do with you, but I don't want to just be exclusive with you. Like, he could have done that. He could have said that. But for him to just go the direction of cheating, to me, is foul. And I think Courtney knows that. And it's sad because she's already been wronged before. But their talk, he kind of had an attitude, but he blames the cheating on the fact that he moved so fast in the relationship with her. And he says that it was a lot for him to feel married already. Colt, feeling married doesn't stop your dick from working. I'm just sorry. Like, married people probably have sex more than people who ain't married, for the ones that's in healthy marriages. So I felt like that was a cop out. Courtney, pretty much the episode ends with Courtney telling him it's the audacity of what you did. You cheated on me in my parents' house, like, from their spare bedroom. Like, and she's hurt. She does end up wheeling him back up to the room. And this is why people say closure is for fools. She did not need this closure. What she needed to do was find the confidence in herself to be okay. All right. She showed didn't need the closure, but we see the episode with her wheeling him back into the room, and we're going to see what happens next week. I hope that Courtney, and I wish that she would have listened to her mom and just kind of like, here's your shit, I'm gone. But instead she sat down wanting an explanation. And it's like, baby girl, when people cheat on you like that, especially when you're doing so much for them, that's deeper than them just not valuing you. That's them not valuing themselves, you know? And Colt is a disgusting and vile human being and a pathetic excuse and a bitch-made man. His mother failed heavily. We all know that. The internet knows that. He's going to pull the narcissistic role where he tries to get everyone to feel sorry for him by talking about how bad he is and acknowledging the negative. But Colt, baby, we see you. We see right through you and all that BS. You nasty shaped, big, wide back, having ass toad. It don't make no sense, y'all. It doesn't. But Courtney, let this be a lesson. Sometimes what another person experienced in a relationship is relevant to yours, because Colt did you the way that he did every other woman. He needs to get medical help, in my opinion, because he cheated on every woman he's been with, Brazilian or not. So I just want him to stop wasting the time with women. Please stop wasting the time with women, Colt. Get a life. And if you were really all of that, you'd be able to catch a bitch in the US, but you can't. You can only catch one from Courtney, who, in my opinion, seemed like she was just desperate and willing to try whoever she, had a little bit of a vibe with. And I can't blame her for that. But I hope Courtney doesn't let this get her down, and I hope she has sense. But we will see, beautiful people. That is it for my review of 90 Day The Single Life. This episode is The Art of Micro-Cheating. We are 5 episodes into the 5th season. I'm going to hope it gets a little more interesting, because right now I'm annoyed with Sophie. The other new girl we're going to see next week, who's trying to date her friend, who's making it clear he don't want to date her. I'm annoyed with her. I'm annoyed with Liz. I'm annoyed with Julia. I'm not annoyed with Kim yet. Kim is actually doing all right and intentionally dating, so I'm not mad at Kim, but I am curious to see what else this will give. My next live on this channel will be Wednesday, March 11th. I will be going over Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I will be doing that earlier in the day because I do have an event, or I will do it in the evening. So just subscribe to the channel, be on the lookout, ring the bell so you don't miss a notification. But other than that, I appreciate everybody. Love and light to all of y'all. Thug life. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next review. Adios.